Well, it's fair to say we have a celebrity in our midst. Laxmi Narayan Tripathi is not just a transgender rights activist, but also a famed Bollywood actress and dancer, and she's been kind enough to join us. Welcome to the program, Laxmi.
Thank you so much.
You've been instrumental as part of the organising committee for this conference. What do you see as the key goals of the conference?
Basic thing is that access to treatment and getting people who are positive on treatment. And basically, I come from a very key populations and epidemic in our region, and which from the country which I come is concentrated epidemic, whether it is sex workers, whether it's transgender men having sex with men, drug users, and all the key populations. Over here at this conference, and I was on the CCC committee of this conference, it was wonderful working with everybody. But my biggest thing issue for me was about sex workers, whether it's male, female or transgenders. And today, like when we are talking, by 9:30 we are having a plenary, which we are very happy about. It is one of the first conferences where we are having a sex workers plenary. And this whole movement, this conference started, the 20th International Conference started on a sad note. But again you see, and last evening also you saw at the rally and everything, that we are a community which don't stigmatizes, doesn't discriminate anyone, immaterial you are a scientist to the sex worker or a drug user. We all are a big united community. We don't have racism, no casteism, nothing. We stand united for the epidemic which is known as HIV and AIDS.
Now you'll be performing to mark the 20th anniversary of the Asia Pacific network of sex workers. How did this organisation come about, and what's been its role?
This the activist Asia Pacific Sex Workers Network came up, and the driving force was Andrew Hunter, who is no more with us. We lost him last year. But it was necessary because without sex workers you could not even address this whole epidemic. And there are many regions in the world where sex workers are still criminalized. For sex workers, access to treatment is the biggest issue. Even carrying condom in your purse can be put you behind bars. There are no legal protection for the sex workers. Issue of old age sex workers, issue of many things. People talk about rehabilitation. I don't understand. You can't sit in an AC room and talk about rehabilitation about sex workers. You should go to the sex workers and ask them, because as the Global Sex Workers Network bad girl ambassador, which I am claimed to be, I believe it is the community's participation, right from policy making to execution, about whatever the government wants to think. There should be community members involved.
And how do you reach sex workers and reduce their vulnerability to HIV? How do you go about?
See, first is decriminalization. There are countries and modules which are coming up which are so scary. They say, okay, we don't criminalize sex workers, but at the end of the day what happens there is that there are other laws around it which makes them more vulnerable to the community. Some go in hiding, so it's very hard to reach also to these people, and that's the saddest part.
And the stigmatization too, still?
Yes, see, for stigmatization, female sex workers, they have their own stigmas, male sex workers have their own stigma, transgender sex workers, the issue is of visibility. Transgender themselves are visible, and for the transgender community it becomes that every transgender is a sex worker, which is not true.
And how do you see your role as a celebrity in highlighting these issues?
See, in my country we have been very successful, and recently we had the judgment of the transgenders issue. For Asia Pacific, I was a founding member of the Asia Pacific Transgender Network. I have been associated with Asia Pacific Sex Workers Network since 2005, and for me, I am everything I say. I am myself a product, and when I sell myself, I am much more than a sex worker. I sell my dignity, I sell everything, in front of camera, everything. So it's issue about, not being, oh, they are sex workers or they are transgenders. They are humans.
Laxmi, I know you've got a full dance card this week, so thank you very much for taking out the time to talk to us today. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.